Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the Bitcoin 2022 conference that just happened in Miami. It was a blast. I just got back about a week and a half ago. It was a crazy time. I'm going to walk through how the conference was organized, different events I did, and give you a little bit of a sneak peek insight into how the event was. Before I begin, I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Ledden. Ledden is the best place in the world to go borrow against your Bitcoin using it as collateral. So when you borrow against your Bitcoin, you can use your Bitcoin and then get a dollar loan. And so they allow that for consumers. So everyday people like us can borrow against it. And you can also earn a yield in some jurisdictions. So that is limited, but go check that out. One of my favorite products, definitely recommend it. Go check it out right now. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over to the recap of the 2022 conference. So I first write this up on Thursdays on the Held Report. The Held Report's a newsletter of mine on Substack. Link is below in the description. So if you want to get this stuff first, subscribe there. If not, you will see it here on Sundays. And this one's actually going to come out a couple days later during the week. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop on in. So the origins of Bitcoin 2022. Well, the original conference actually happened in San Francisco in the FIDI district. And I actually lived in San Francisco at the time, and it was done in a pretty huge venue. It was one of the biggest conferences ever done, even for that era. This was one of the first big mega Bitcoin only conferences. Before that, there were Bitcoin only conferences like the Baltic Honey Badger, which is one of my favorite ones out there. It's a European one in the Baltics. Super fun, very intimate, very kind of a smaller group. In 2019, my participation was How to Destroy Bitcoin with Samson Mao and Aaron Van Wertum. This was a really fun panel where we jammed on how would we go destroy Bitcoin? And then COVID caused the 2022 conference to be canceled. And then 2021, it was super intense. I think a lot of people, is that post-COVID pent-up energy combined with Bitcoin's price action in early 2021 made it really, really exciting, and people had a blast. What's funny is that the Bitcoin 2022 conference, so in the last 2 years, it's been in Miami, but there's actually a conference called Bitcoin Miami. That's the original kind of OG conference. And it was started in 2014 by a guy named Mo Levin. And here below here, I'm not sure if you can see this very well. It's a fuzzy picture of me and Mandrick. And so my buddy Sam, we're still good friends. He's been in the space for a long time. He snapped this picture. And Mandrick was the first employee at blockchain.com. He was the first support staff hired there. And this was right after my company, ZeroBlock, was acquired by them. So I was the second acquisition in Bitcoin. So here's the Wall Street Journal article in December 2013 about doing M&A with Bitcoin. So blockchain.com bought ZeroBlock, my first product. And then there was a ton of excitement at the 2014 conference. It was just a ton of energy. This was one of the first major conferences. This was post Bitcoin hitting like $1,200 a Bitcoin. People were really excited. There's even huge business deals going on too, like Mandrick here referencing when Roger Ver bought Bitcoin.com. That was like a big deal. So it was a super exciting, very high energy sort of moment. One of my favorite conferences was that one. So at Bitcoin 2022, what did I present on? I presented a couple different times. So I presented at the Bitcoin Unleashed conference that was thrown by Stacks. So Isaiah Jackson and I covered Bitcoin DeFi. Like, what is Bitcoin DeFi? What does it mean? How does it used? What does DeFi stand for? Like, DeFi is this pretty ambiguous term. So we covered all of that. That was super fun. Got to hang out with, we were all hanging out right after my presentation, like Udi, Patrick, Munib. Known these guys for a long time. Known Patrick for a really long time. And I think Udi's one of the funniest people in the space. So we were able to hang out, kind of chill after. And that was super fun time. And then Bitcoin 2022, of course, that's the main conference. My presentation was on onboarding institutions. So I had some really awesome folks on my panel. So I was moderating it. Hani Rashwan, he's the CEO of 21 Shares. Colin Metodiev, he's the co-founder of Nexo, a big lending and borrowing platform. And Shirish Jajodia, he's the senior director of treasury at MicroStrategy. So all of MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor's purchases of Bitcoin, he handles all of that. So it was super fascinating hearing them talk about, is the institutional crowd, are their toes in the water? Are their feet in the water? How deep in the water are they? And it sounds like they're just barely dipping their toes in. So when more and more institutions come, that equals more and more buyers and sellers and deeper markets and more products. And so I think it's a thing that we should embrace. What's great about the institutions is that and what's great about Bitcoin is that the institutions have no power over Bitcoin. They can't change it. So, their inevitability of coming into this space was going to happen, and we might as well embrace it. And we were very fortunate that they can't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin's whole architecture is made to where the powerful can't change it. Then I did a couple then I did a more like a roundtable style conversation with the Ledger folks. This was with CTO of Ledger, Joel, the head of Americas for Ledger sales, and then Michael Casqueta, head of revenue at Paxos. So that was a pretty awesome event. It was kind of more intimate. It was in kind of like a roundtable where we were in the middle and there's all these couches around where people could listen in and ask questions. So that was a ton of fun. Hey everyone, I want to pause here real quick to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Choice. They're rebuilding retirement accounts for Bitcoiners and enabling you to trade real Bitcoin, crypto stocks, and more in a single tax-advantaged account. Thousands of Bitcoiners, myself included, have already signed up to start investing. I spent a long time looking for a solution like this. I'm super glad I found Choice. Check it out at www.choiceapp.io/held. And the link is below in the description. Oh, and one more thing. I wouldn't be working with Choice if they didn't let me hold my own private keys. And then I did a bunch of different podcasts and recordings. There's one I did with a huge mainstream TV thing that's coming out. I can't mention who for NDA reasons, but should be really cool. But yeah, interviewed Pascal at the Ledger mansion. This was a really epic mansion where they had all these cool Ledger products, and they were hosting meetings with like different Ledger clients, and they had a bunch of different folks from the Ledger team there. So Pascal and I sat down and we filmed some really high quality content that's going to come out soon about Bitcoin private key management and what Pascal sees for the future of Bitcoin in the ecosystem. So that was super fun. Also with the Ledden guys. So Ledden guys, I've been sponsored by Ledden for a long time. I was one of the first people to use their product and love the team. Got to meet Adam, one of the co-founders who I hadn't met in person before. I've met Mauricio, but haven't met Adam yet. So that was super awesome. They had a film crew follow me around. So that footage is definitely going to come out on this channel. It was really sick. So it was a ton of fun. There was a ton of different film crews there. So that was a blast. Wolf of Wall Street's. So I was hanging out with like myself, Preston Pish, and a few others. We all got Corona. So we were drinking beer live on the air. So this was one of the last, I think this was the Friday. So this was kind of a blast, a great way to kind of wind down the week. If you notice too, I've got some Bitcoin shoes on. There's a couple different pictures that came out from the conference of people taking pictures of my shoes. So it says just hodl it on one side, and then you've got the Bitcoin symbol on the other. So those were a ton of fun. And my friend Lena makes those. She's type in like Lena Lena crypto, and she's got a whole bunch of different types of custom shoes that she makes. And then Edon and I from Sovereign had a quick catch up on Bitcoin DeFi. That was a lot of fun. Edon's he's been in the crypto space a long time, has great thoughts on DeFi, and it was really cool to sync up with him. And then people and places. So like the whole week was pretty wild. I mean, it was a lot of activities. During the day, my meetings were down to like 15-minute intervals. Intervals, going through whether it be these different recordings, some that I haven't shown here, meetings, etc. It was pretty intense. And then had a couple different, at night we'd go do happy hours and stay out late going out to clubs and bars, which is tons of fun. And that's, I think a lot of people should go to these conferences because you get to feel the Bitcoin, the ecosystem and the people behind it. It really makes a difference. And so on Saturday, we were pretty tired. We'd been going out pretty late all week, and the legendary Eric Weinstein actually crashed our dinner, which was a ton of fun. And that dinner actually lasted around 4 hours. So really in-depth conversations around life, purpose, Bitcoin, governments. It was pretty fascinating. So that was super fun. And then you might know a few people in here. That's my girlfriend Ellie, and then so my buddy's here, and then that's Lauren. She's a crypto NFT individual. And then, of course, at the conference, hung out with a bunch of people. These are just some random photos. Breedlove and Natalie Brunel and a bunch of others in the OKCoin crowd. Mandy, she's awesome. Really love the OKCoin team. And then, for example, ran into Size Chad. So he was truly Size Chad. He's truly Chad. So him and I talked for a bunch about just kind of like what it's like to be in the ecosystem and just kind of the vibes that we were feeling from the space. But this was a wild time. I mean, at this party was this was a house party where Tiesto played, and Mayor Suarez actually came and spun. He actually played as DJ for a little bit. So this was a wild event. I mean, that's just like a sneak preview. Can't really talk about some of the other stuff, but that's like one I could talk about. So it was a blast. Had a ton of fun. I definitely recommend everyone, if you haven't been to a Bitcoin conference, go. You might not meet as many people as I do, but you're going to meet a lot of other good Bitcoiners. You're going to meet a lot of, it's going to make you feel more confident that you believe in this ecosystem, that there's real things happening in the expo hall at the conference. I mean, there was 25,000 people total came to this thing, but in the expo hall, you had hundreds of companies. And so it just makes me very bullish on the ecosystem to see all of these people, see all this energy being deployed to go build out Bitcoin stuff. Hope you enjoyed. This was a kind of a brief recap. If you like more stuff like this, throw me a comment. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you don't. Also give this a like. It helps with the algorithm. Appreciate you watching, and cheers.